Hey Fiber friends, Flim Man here. Today, I'll be bringing you some content that has far more premeditated preparation put into it than anything else I've released so far. Hell, I even wrote a script this time. That's nice. I'm going to be doing something very different. I'm going to be doing a review of a video game on the internet. Because my life is pointless. Do you like crafting? Do you like psychedelic mushrooms? Are you a fan of either Marxism or Pop Tropica? Or both? Then I've got the brew you're yearning for. Yes, all of this and more can be found in 1 Hour, 1 Life. 1 Hour, 1 Life is an isometric third-person, point-and-click-esque survival crafting game that is entirely online, created solely by Jason Rohrer. However, I don't feel comfortable simply calling it a online survival crafting game. I feel like that brief description doesn't sell the game for what it really is. No, in reality, 1 Hour 1 Life is more like some kind of interactive social experiment mixed with anarcho-primitivist wet dreams. Let me explain how the online in this game works. When you spawn into the world, you are born as a defenseless, helpless baby who has to be guarded by your mother, or maybe your sister or cousin if your mom fucks off and dies. But here's the thing, the game has absolutely no NPCs. Every human in-game is another player that has been born into the world from some other player, unless you spawn as an Eve, in which case you are willed into existence by this game's god, Sigmund Freud, and you have to start as an adult female and set the foundations for your bloodline. Or, the more likely scenario, you'll fail to establish a proper colony, your female children will die off, effectively preventing new people from being born, and your failed attempt at a society will be lost to the sands of time. Once your character has matured a bit, and no longer has to be kept near a fire to prevent your inferior baby body from falling apart, you'll be able to pick up items and start being a functional member of society. Fucking deadbeat. From here, parents usually never interact with their children again, as they can feed themselves at that point and don't really need their parents to take care of them anymore since they are now part of a socialist commonwealth, just as Stalin intended. If your IQ is lower than Japanese birth rates, like most of the people playing this game, I'd recommend sticking to the farms in your first couple of lives. It's important to know how the agriculture works in this game, and it's vital not only to your survival, but everyone else's as well. So, once you're the hard-working, upstanding age of 4 years old, it'd be advised to pick up that hoe and get to plowing some fields. And, don't feel bad for using tools just laying around to do stuff. Silly concepts, like property, have no place in this game. However, if you're more acquainted with the intricacies of this game, you can pick up a specialist trade and begin making some more valuable products. Chefs, clothiers, blacksmiths, and cult leaders are all respected specialist professions that are welcome in any thriving settlement. Once you become old enough to work, you can begin to truly prosper and thrive, and usher in a new age of development for whatever society you've been born into, if you have the aptitude and skill to do so. But there is an alternative to being a productive member of society. You can just be a massive dick and grief your settlement to the point of collapse. This is always extremely fun and very helpful to your settlement, and the community smiles upon the act of misplacing items, wasting food, and ruining tools just to get your sick kicks. You can also just murder everyone you see, but I wouldn't recommend doing it in a public area, because before you know it, you'll be in Donkey Town. All of these things, however, require you to get past the most difficult part of this game: infancy. Yes, the infant mortality rate in this game is extremely high. Whether by choice, lack of food, or incompetence of its mother, babies tend to die a lot, and they'll happily populate your graveyards for you. As the name of the game implies, you have 1 hour to live your life. Or less. Most likely less. With every minute that passes, you will age 1 year, and if you survive 60 years, you'll peacefully pass away of old people disease. This, however, isn't even mentioning the other ways you can die in this game, all of which are abrupt, shocking, annoying, and absolute bullshit. You can step on a snake, or step on a bear, and die, or get malaria from mosquitoes in the Congolese jungle. As I said before, there's always the chance that that one kid with the bowl cut that sits in the back of the class might snap one day and decide to stab everyone within stabbing distance in the town. Of course, we could easily prevent all of these attacks if we simply illegalized assault knives and stuck serial numbers onto fully automatic bows. Of course, you can get treated for bites and homicide poisoning, but proper medical professionals and equipment will more than likely not be around, and doctors can't exactly treat stab wounds if they are suffering from knife disease as well. So, if you are wounded, in most cases you might as well save everyone some time and walk yourself to the graveyard, so no one has to move your corpse. Now that I think about it, I'm just describing the average day in Chad. Let's review the controls real quick, because it'll take like 3 nanoseconds to explain. The controls are extremely basic, and they get the job done well. Left click, as the game proudly exclaims, does almost everything, like moving around and picking up objects, but for everything else you're going to be using right click to drop items, but also drop brainlets. You can chat in-game with the keyboard, as well as change your character's face for some basic in-game expression of emotion, which you'll never use because everyone that plays this game is an autonomous, emotionless husk of a human being. Let's talk about the graphics and sound design. All of the graphics are hand-drawn and scanned into the game. The style feels like Pop Tropica mixed with Don't Starve, and it's pretty charming, and the hand-drawn graphics are pretty nice on the eyes. It is worth noting, however, that the base game has nudity in all of its school notebook scribbled glory. I opted to remove it for this video since the people that run YouTube do not respect the human form as much as people that play this game. The music in this game isn't anything too spectacular, it's just some piano, but it definitely sets the mood, and personally I like to put on something a bit more appropriate and melancholic. To really put into perspective the replayability of this game and how different every life you play is, let me tell you just some of my experiences with the game. I was born into a civilization on the cusp of the Iron Age, the child of a lowly berry farmer. My mother's name was Destiny. My name was Destiny too. All my grandmothers were named Destiny. I was like the 7th Destiny in my bloodline apparently, so I was aptly named Destiny the 7th. The first thing I saw after being forced into this world was the mass grave north of our town, because no one could afford, neither had the technology to perform proper ceremonial burial. Immediately after, some grandma went all gangsta on some guy because he had a habit of killing people, so she popped a cap in his ass. I spent the rest of my days slaving over a berry farm. I had several delinquent children, all of which named Destiny, and I died of jungle fever. I didn't even get to kill any Viet Cong militants either. It's truly sad. In my next life, my mother named me Dick and decided to die. I had no reason to persist in a society that I was no longer related to, so I took advantage of it. I loaded up a horse-drawn cart with carrots and other munitions, and picked a direction and just started riding. My goal was to find another civilization to call home, or maybe ethnically cleanse or something. Unfortunately, after riding for several years, my horse was bitten by a snake, and I was engulfed by a fleet of mosquitoes. I swear that death was so unsatisfying and shitty that I felt the individual thousands of mosquito proboscises piercing my soul when my character died. I left no legacy, except that of a deadbeat that took his people's resources and died in some fuck-off desert. The only remnant of me existing is my withering corpse and some leftover goodies, which some fortunate soul might happen upon one day just so they can die and lose it all over again. It truly is a vicious cycle. In the life after that, I was a cis-white male born into a thriving, but not necessarily booming, little town. My name was Pepper because the name Pepe wasn't allowed. I was instructed by my parental unit to gather bananas from the northern jungles. My mother told me to avoid the Serengeti wasteland that was populated by a plethora of friendly parasites that wanted to give me yellow fever. However, I did not listen to them, because those areas had the most bountiful caches of bananas. Yes, I spent a good 30 years dodging the African adversaries and gathering the most plentiful, bulging, and curved bananas. I diverted a golden stream of nanners into my tribe, filling every basket I possibly could with them pointy, annoying little fellers. Of course, I couldn't dodge destiny forever, and one day my kingdom finally came. I was assaulted by some mosquitoes hiding behind a tree like guerrilla warlords, and died with the reputation of an underpaid Guatemalan banana farmer. 10 out of 10? Fuck this job. I'm gonna play RuneScape now. Please come to Venezuela. When you really dig into it, 1 Hour 1 Life is about mortality and the futility of it. You've got people starting farms, killing each other, making furnaces and smithies, and establishing structures and monuments. These people want to leave a legacy. The chances that you'll be born into the same civilization is low, so you'll likely never see anyone from your town again after you die. People don't want to be forgotten, and I feel like that is something that Roarer really wanted to tap into with this game. People don't want time to erase their existence. They don't want to be just another pile of bones amidst a designated area for bone piles. They want to leave something that future generations will cosmically thank them for, like a cart or a well, or offing Uncle Jerry because he kept putting beans inside of bowls. Finally, I'd like to talk about the community. It's pretty good, most of the time, other than some sour apples that will misplace your items and slaughter your friends, which some would argue are legitimate game mechanics. The community is pretty nice. Community is pretty important in this game, considering it's entirely player-driven, and if you want to participate in the community outside of the game and learn the latest Elite Gamer Pro stats, I'd recommend checking out the forum. People actively post about suggestions, stories, and current game metas. So if you want to sharpen your hours condensed into lives, then I'd recommend starting there. Some will say that the game has no right being $20, but I absolutely recommend this game if any of the aforementioned shit I spewed at you sounds interesting. I picked it up
around April 2018
when it was only available on the creator's website, but nowadays, pretty recently actually, you can pick up the game on Steam. Starvation, strife, prosperity, banana cults, Karl Marx's bullshit. Truly the authentic 1 hour, 1 life experience. I hope you enjoyed this review as much as I enjoyed making it. With that being said, I'd like to make more videos in this style, so keep in touch. Thank you for watching, and remember, post-birth abortion is an ethical solution to food shortages. Y'all have a good day.